Okay, today we are going to learn how to solve a specific area of a solid or a cube or a cuboid, no? Solving for a specific area of a solid. It's either a cube or a cuboid. So ano nga ba ibig sabihin ng specific area? Basically, it refers to a certain face of the figure. So for example, we have a cuboid. Then a certain part of it is shaded. Example, ito. Ito yung shaded part niya. Okay? So, madami naman tayong mga surfaces that can be shaded. Another example, isa side by side ko lang para mas makita nyong lahat ang comparison between these three situations that we are in. Okay. One is ito. Yung sa harap. Other situations. Kaya, syempre, it can be all the other way around. Yung opposite side nito. Which is dito sa kabila. Which you cannot see. Which we cannot see sa three-dimensional figure. Kasi nga, nasa likod na siya. Second is ito. Sa side. Okay, ito yung front. Ito yung side. Ito naman yung top. In which ito yung shaded. Okay. So, paano nga ba tayo nagsosolve for that area? It's actually very easy. Well, I'll try to make it easy. Very easy. So, always remember, no, sa formula, we are still going to make use of the volume equals length times width times height. Okay, then from here natin iso-solve kung which ang gagamitin natin. Okay. So, for the front, okay, so base formula natin is always volume equals length times width times height. Okay, main concern nyo dito sa front, of all three dimensions, ano-ano yung kasali sa shaded part? Which dimensions are included sa, sorry, I'll just write this down first. Front, mabuti pa sa taas na lang. Front, side, top. So, we are referring to this as a shaded part, ha? So, again, sa front muna tayo. Sa front, if you have this certain mga dimensions nga. So, let's say you have your length, your width, and your height. Yung kasali sa shaded, anong dimensions ang kasali sa shaded? Obviously, if you notice, nakadikit talaga sa shaded is ito. So, we can consider that length is part of the shaded part. Now, is your width part of your shaded part? Do you see this line connected to the shaded part? No. Walang shaded part kasi malayo siya. Now, you might ask me, Teacher Mark, ang height, kasi nandito siya, so wala man siya. But, if you notice that this can also be considered as your height. Kasi the same lang yun eh. Diba? They are all the same in terms of height. So, which means that this height of yours is also considered being part of the shaded part. Itong shaded na yung naka-white. Ito. So, which means it's your L and H that is included that would lead you to solving the shaded part. Okay? So, take note, for your front, it's your length and your height. Take note natin ang length and ang height. So, which means, since yan ang sinosolve natin, we want to remove the width from this side of the equation. Okay, remember, yung solving, di ba sinabi ko sa inyo that there are two sides of the equation, this side and the other side. So, since you're solving for that shaded part, and this shaded part includes length and height, so you want to leave length and height here. And what you want to remove from this equation is your width. Okay. Doing this, all you need to do is to do the process of cancellation. Tanggalin ko lang muna yung tracing line. Okay. Again, sulusulatin ko lang dito para mas klaro tayo. volume equals length times width times height. Okay? Dito yung illustration that's showing you what you're going to keep and what you're going to remove. So, removing width, dividing it by width para ma-cancel natin. So, same lang sa last few videos natin. It's just that in this case, you are dealing with 2 dimensions. Kasi shaded part siya eh. Shaded part represents area. This is an area. And since it's an area, you need to have 2 dimensions. Like for a rectangle, length and width. For a square, side times side. So you need 2 dimensions. So in this case, you have L and H. Okay, so ano ngayon ang gagawin natin? What you do in one side of the equation? Since we divided this side of the equation by W, or width, we should also divide the other side by W. So what is left here is volume over W equals length times height. Okay? And this length times height here is represented by the area of the front side. Okay? This length times height is your area of front. Okay? Area of front. So, can we just name L times H as area of front? Okay? Ganyan lang. So, we have volume over width is equivalent to our area of front. So, Teacher Mark, can we reverse them? Yes. Para hindi lang kayo malito. This is just the same as this one. Ganun lang. Paras lang yan. Okay? So, which means if you're solving for the front shaded part, you need to make use of this formula. Okay? So, ganyan lang yan. Nag-derive lang si Teacher Mark on how to get the answer. Okay? So, yan ang gagamitin ninyo pag area of the front ang hinahanap ninyo. Now, going to the next, we have the side. Side naman ang isolve natin. Okay, side na tayo. Solving for side. So, i-compare natin. Again, looking for what can help us. We have our length, width, and height. So, anong dimension ang connected sa ating shaded part? Is length part of it? Is our length part of the shaded part? No. But we can consider our width kasi nakadikit siya sa shaded part eh. It's part of the shaded part. And yung height naman is also part of the shaded part. So which means we can only consider width and height here as our 2 dimensions that will help us solve for the area of this shaded part kapag sa side tayo, if you're talking about the side. So then again, tanggal ang length. Okay. Then again, you have our volume equals length times width times height. Again, tinatanggal natin ang length because we are not going to make use of length here, like the width sa front din. Okay. So dito, what you want to keep is width and height, and what you want to remove is your length. Okay. Tanggalin natin ngayon by simply dividing L. Cancel yan. What you do in one side, do it on the other side of the equation, which is divided by L as well. So what is left here is volume. Volume over length is equivalent to width times H, or height. Okay, kung kanina ang L times H is the area of front, we can also say that width times area is basically the area of side. Okay? So, area of side yan. So, ibig sabihin, we can also write this as area of side. So, ibig sabihin, ang WH can be written as area of side. So, rewriting this formula, we have volume over L equals area of side. So, which means if you are solving for side shaded part, we're going to make use of this. Again, Teacher Mark, can I rewrite them? Can I just put them in opposite? Yes, because this is how you're used to writing a formula. Okay? So, ganun lang. So, sige lang. Gagawa tayo ng summary after this one. Para hindi tayo malito. Okay? Ngayon naman is yung top. Solving for the top naman tayo. Let me just mark this. This marks different formulas. Okay, so meron tayo niyan. Kompleto na. So, what we're solving for now is yung top naman. Okay, yung top. Ito. So, for our top, again, we have our length, width, and height. Ano yung mga connected sa shaded part natin, which is in this case yung top? Anong dimensions ang connected sa top? Let's check one by one. Is height considered? No. Kasi hindi siya nakadikit. Kasi to identify, it should be part of this one. Yung nakadikit talaga sa kanya. Sa shaded part. And the only dimensions involved in that is our length and our width. So which means we are going to include L and W but not H. Okay, tanggalin ang H. So it's H that you are going to remove from the equation. Again, so this is solving for the top. Okay, top to ha. So solve ko lang ulit. Putting the formula, we have volume equals length times width times height. Solving for the top shaded part, we need to not include the height. Okay, so leaving L and W but not H. So do the same thing, divide it by H to cancel H. What you do in one side of the equation, do it on the other side of the equation. So what is left here is volume over H equals length times width. And we can also say that this length times width is our top shaded part. Okay? Top shaded part yan. And this top shaded part can be written as, meaning ang L times W. Ba't hindi ko makasulat dito? Something wrong with my iPad. Okay. So, length times W is equivalent to area of top. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, this can be written as ang volume over height natin is equivalent to area of top. Or then again, can be written the other way around. The area of top is equivalent to volume over height. Okay, so meron tayong tatlo. Again, summary. Meron tayong summary. There are three figures that we are basically solving for. Or three situations. Mabilisan lang na summary. Nagmamabilis si Teacher Mark kasi nalolobat na yung pencil ko. Okay? Pag ito, this is what you're solving for. The formula here is area top, no? Area front, sorry. Area front is equivalent to, anong area front natin? Hanapin natin. Area front is volume over width. Volume over width. If you're solving for sa side, so area side is equivalent to, hanapin natin ang area side natin. Again, ganito lang kadali yan ha. Sinasummarize ko na lang para sa inyo. Is volume over length. Okay? And once what is given is solving for yung sa area sa top. Area top is equivalent to volume over height. Again, we have three situations. One, if this is given, this is what you're going to make use of. If the figure looks like the second figure, this is what you're going to make use of. If the figure is given yung sa third, this is what you're going to make use of. Okay? So, ganun lang kadali solving for the shaded part of the figure. Naging mahaba lang siya because Teacher Mark needs to show you the deriving process on how we landed with each formula, which is ito na nga. 1, 2, 3.